Om Tat Sat. Welcome to Gyan Bhakti. We are currently exploring the mystical scripture, Mysticism of Srimad Bhagavatam. Commentaries by my Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayananda Maharaj, narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. So in yesterday's satsang, we were covering the churning of the ocean. So let us continue from there. Nectar appears at last. As the churning continued, there arose out of the ocean a divine physician, Dhanvantari ji, another manifestation of Lord Vishnu. Dhanvantari was the originator of Ayurveda, the medical science of ancient India. Ayu means age. Veda is the mystical scripture. So the Veda that increases and helps you to stay healthy and live a long, fulfilling life is Ayurveda. And he is considered a great healer. He came holding in his hands a jar full of nectar, which is called Amrit in Hindi, Amrit, nectar. And his whole body was decked with the most wondrous ornaments. The moment the demons saw the nectar in his hands, they forcibly took the whole jar and began to fight among themselves to see who would drink the nectar first. Seeing this, the gods became depressed. The nectar that they had been striving to obtain had now fallen into the hands of demons. Lord Vishnu told the gods not to worry and assumed the form of a lovely lady called Mohini, the goddess of enchantment. The moment Mohini appeared in their midst, the demons started and they became totally fascinated by her. They were startled. When she offered to take charge of distributing the nectar fairly, they readily agreed, trusting that she favored the demons in every way. Picking up the vessel of nectar, Mohini asked that both the demons and the gods sit down, the gods on one side and demons on the other. Then while Mohini frowned at the gods while secretly serving nectar to them, she continued to smile alluringly at the demons. They were so enchanted by her exquisite beauty that they did not realize they were being tricked. As the demons laughed and rejoiced at her smiles, Mohini actually was serving all the nectar to the gods. One demon called Rahu realized what was happening, and so he assumed the form of a god and sat between the sun god and the moon god. A few drops of nectar had hardly trickled down his throats when the two gods detected his demoniac presence and pointed it out to Lord Vishnu. Immediately, Lord Vishnu beheaded the demon as he drank, and his trunk, untouched by the nectar, fell down. Since the head had gained immortality, Brahma made the head a planet. It is said that the planet continues to revenge upon the sun and the moon even today when it causes solar and lunar eclipses. When the gods had drunk their fill of the nectar, Lord Vishnu abandoned his form as Mohini and presumed his normal form in front of the demons. Then he rode off on the Garuda bird. Realizing that they had been deceived by Lord Vishnu, the demons waged war against the gods. Terrible was the fight. It seemed there would be no end to the war until Narada appeared. The sage told the gods, "You have already tasted nectar and become immortal. The demons have become subservient to you and remain mortal. Stop the war." The gods listened respectfully and stopped fighting, returning to the heavenly worlds amidst shouts of praise. Some demons were revived by Shukracharya, the preceptor of demons, but a great multitude were destroyed. So this is the story, and let us delve into the deeper meaning, the mystical meaning. the real essence of these stories. The purified mind is the divine physician Dhanvantari. He brings the vessel of nectar, which is intuitional knowledge of the self. In Hindi it is called prajna. Prajna is a technical term of intuitional knowledge. They can heal all sufferings. Prajna heals it, and that is the cause of our enlightenment. But this knowledge cannot be claimed by the demons, or demoniac qualities are the demons. It nourishes the divine qualities in an aspirant and destroys all that is demoniac in him. When intuitional knowledge of the self dawns in a person, no longer is there any death for him. He becomes immortal. He has realized that he is not the physical body. He is the eternal self. There is no death to the self. It is only to the physical body. That knowledge puts an end to the dread of death forever. So there is this klesh called abhinivesh klesh, fear of death, which most people have. We want to keep on living no matter how difficult the circumstances may be, because we love dear life so much. But once the knowledge dawns that you are not this physical body or mind or intellect or ego, and you have developed yourself to the point where you are connected to the self, then all fear of death vanishes. Mohini is the intoxicating vision of samadhi, which lures the demons or the lower aspects of the personality to their destruction, while it serves the higher aspects of the personality with immortal nectar. So that is the process, the journey, destroying the demons and nourishing the devas, gods, or good qualities. In the process of sadhana or your spiritual discipline, you continue trying to trick your lower self, your ego, your attachments and hatred, all the demons who had their place in the earlier stages of your spiritual movement. After you obtain intuitional knowledge, those aspects of your lower self die. Nectar is not given to them. This is the meaning why a lot of people say, why would gods trick the demons like that? They also worked hard. But the understanding is that the demoniac qualities never do any good. They will always do harm, like anger, greed, lust, passion, unlimited worldly desires, all those things. So we have to understand the depth of these scriptures and what they are trying to teach us, not just read these stories. After you obtain intuitional knowledge, those aspects of your lower self then die, which means that's what we want. Pick up our higher self and destroy the lower self. Nectar is not given. All divine qualities become predominant as you become intoxicated by the unconditional bliss of the self. So as the bliss in you grows, that in essence is the nectar, because that gives you unlimited bliss. When Narada said, why did he stop the gods from completely eliminating the demons then? Narada ji, because he asked them to stop the war. If all demons were destroyed, there would be no world process, no struggle in life. And if there was no struggle, there would be no spiritual evolution. Aspirants would become spineless like jellyfish. So we see in our life, we are constantly working, struggling, dealing with our challenges. Vices and virtue continue side by side. And the journey for a spiritual aspirant is to emerge victorious from his vices that are lurking in the crevices within him, and go find them one by one. That is the essential journey. Looked at from still another perspective, when one has attained Jivan Mukti or liberation in life, he still maintains a personality that must sustain practical values in life. In the practical world, it would be impossible for a sage to exist without having certain likes and dislikes, certain sentiments needed for maintaining the world, like firmness, anger, righteous indignation, etc. They are the demons, but they have not taken the nectar of immortality. They will exist only as long as prarabdha karma or fructifying action maintains the body of a sage, and then it eventually extinguishes. When prarabdha is over, both positive and negative impressions are transcended, dissolving away as the sage leaves the world behind in the state of bodiless liberation. So this is the deeper mystical meaning of the churning of the ocean, and I hope you're enjoying this wonderful, deeply mystical and devotional scripture, Srimad Bhagavatam. I will see you in tomorrow's satsang. This is Swami Nikhilananda. Om Tat Sat.